Thank you so much, and thank you, Amal, for joining us. A short introduction of Amal. So, Amal Al-Bawardi is the General Manager of the General Department of the International Agreements and Cooperation at the National Center for Environmental Compliance in Saudi Arabia. She's also worked in the Ministry of Energy of Saudi Arabia as a consultant to the General Departments of Borders and Land, conducting legal research on matters related to the law of the sea and implementations of its agreement in the energy sector. Prior to that, she worked as a diplomat in the General Department of Legal Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Saudi Arabia and was a legal investigator in the Oversight and Investigation Authority. That's really cool. She's also lectured in the International Law of Human Rights and Commercial Law at Prince Mohammed bin Fahd University, Saudi Arabia, and International Commercial Arbitration Law for Lawyers training program at Cairo University in Egypt. She holds a master's in international legal commercial transactions and logistics. She has two professional diplomas in international law on international commercial arbitration and sea and borders delimitation. She is also a participant of the Maritime CEO Leadership Accelerator Program, which was powered by IMO. She's an active member in the IMO, and IMO is Arab Women in Maritime Association, AVIMA, and she's also a proud member of Maritime CEO, where we've seen her grow. She's always shared a lot of her stories, and which is why we thought that the first interview series that we do with anyone should be a very active and vocal member like Amal. So, hi, Amal. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm so proud of. Actually, it's weird listening to you describing my journey. Usually, we women face a lot of issues embracing ourselves, especially. We've been talking about the imposter syndrome and how to overcome it. And I'm thankful for this opportunity to share with everyone that I faced some of my own issues, believing in myself. And thank you for this community for helping going through it. So thank you for having me.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the first question, which is why law? Like, is anyone in your family in law or in maritime? Like, what's the story there?
Well, before entering the field of law, I was not thinking much about it, but actually I come from a lineage deeply rooted in the pursuit of justice. So in my parental side, my great-grandfather was one of the first judges in Saudi Arabia. He laid the foundation for the legacy of legal experts within the family, following his path. So after becoming a lawyer, I started counting how many lawyers do we have in our family. On my maternal side, both of my aunts forged remarkable careers as lawyers. One of them was an esteemed advisor at the Egyptian parliament, actually. And she was an inspiration for me, both in professional and family-wise. So she was a high-level career and also a loving mother who nurtured a family of accomplishment lawyers as well. However, when it came to choose my specialization, I ventured into uncharted waters. So I chose the maritime law, which is a field seldom explored by Saudi women.
That's amazing. And I'm in awe of like the story of how strong of a backbone you have in your family. But why maritime law specifically?
Well, actually, growing up, my aspiration did not intentionally lead me to studying law. In fact, I envisioned myself in a white coat, being a doctor, the medical profession. Yet I faced multiple challenges that eventually deterred me from following that career. During the time, I faced some pushbacks and obstacles that forced me to rediscover a different calling for me. So since I was a young girl, I was always challenging the people in front of me to defend either myself or others. So I was always defending something. Um, People sometimes found that amusing, but for me, it was challenging enough. So that's why I found myself studying law. I felt that that was the path that I should follow eventually. But the reason of choosing maritime law was different. It wasn't merely about craving out a career. It was about embarrassing fiction and aligned with my values. Um, so it wasn't just another division of law to study. It was something challenging for me.
Okay, so I was thinking a lot about what you said, and I have a friend that's also in law, and I think she told me that she heard the same thing. She would always be someone in her family who was always fighting people and fighting things and trying to justice. And the common response she got was like, "You should be a lawyer." And then she did eventually become a lawyer and reach the courts. I think that's like I mean, I don't know how common that is, but I this is something that I've commonly heard that a lot of women get encouraged for this.
Well, actually, in my community in Saudi Arabia at that time, lots of men usually, it's common to find men or male working in the legal system, but it was almost impossible to find a female. So perhaps finding justice for my own case was the spark to follow this dream, to be a lawyer, to become a lawyer. But especially maritime law, it's different. Every case is unique. It's a unique opportunity to challenge yourself, to understand the different legal systems and the interpretation of international agreements within the international or regional stages. So it's a unique field of law, not like other fields with all the respect, like the criminal division or the civil division. Everything is different. Every day you learn something. You find a new case to dive in. So it's always rapidly changing. As the ocean it stands for, you can never find the final depth of the maritime law.
And I mean, you brought up about how it's different in Saudi Arabia, and I wanted to ask, has it has it influenced why you practice law in this particular place?
Well, choosing maritime law wasn't merely about carving a career, as I told you. It was difficult, and I heard lots of voices, really good, willing, meaning voices to change or shift this career and find a more easier path for ladies to go to. My journey to specializing in maritime law may have been unconditional, but the fulfillment that it has brought to me is unparalleled. So now that there is a growth and the global focus on regulations and how to use the marine industry and how to interact with our oceans and seas, it become more important to find more specialties within this field, the different fields of maritime, whether it's technical or legal, regardless of being a woman or a man.
Right. And can you tell us, because we've seen your posts about how you've been at the UN and how you've been working on negotiations, but can you share more information on that? Like, what are you working on currently?
Sorry, about what? You continue.
The work that you're doing at the UN, if you could
Yeah.
share.
Yeah, okay. So as you described at the beginning, that I work in the Department of International Relations. So firstly, I want to say hi to my colleagues. Well, I'm sure that they are attending. We've been through a lot this year, especially that we have many international agreements and discussions about protecting the marine environment and many aspects. So I was proudly one of the delegations within the Saudi delegation to negotiate the new international legally binding instrument to protect the marine environment, especially, and other environments from the plastic pollutions. also the other agreements regarding the preservation of the biodiversity in the marine environment. So we've been involved in lots of negotiations, amendments for some legal agreements and international agreements as well.
Okay, that sounds really fascinating. And your colleagues have shown their support in the chat. All right. My next question is, so and because you have shared this couple of months ago in the group, but I thought it would be great to kind of look at it from hindsight because it's been a while since you've been in those situations. So maybe you can answer this a little subjectively. But what are the challenges that you faced at work, and how have you worked at resolving?
Well, I don't know about the new ladies in this community, but since I joined this community, I've been sharing a lot my difficulties. And thank you for being with me during that time, these times. So I was one of the few first women in my generation to join the field of maritime law in Saudi Arabia. Thus, this created an exceptional load or pressure to not only prove myself, but also to excel within my profession. I was always faced rejection within this male-dominated field, facing some, let's say, obstacles during my career, built-in discrimination, and ironically, my success were sometimes attributed to my manager's preference to enablement of women, overlooking of my proven competence or regardless of my gender, or celebrated under the umbrella of my womanhood, as if it was the only vocal point to be highlighted, regardless of what I have to bring on the table, actually. I really didn't try, or at the beginning, I tried to break this circle, but I came to the understanding that it's important to note that some challenges are not meant to be eradicated, nor can be resolved overnight, but they are rather meant to be part of your growth experience that would help you to cultivate resilience and become more dependent and to accept these challenges. So we've been in this cycle as women for a long time. It's about time to embrace ourselves and to understand that we are not supposed to break this circle, but it's very important to raise it up and to speak more about it, to stand by each other. And that's why I'm being part of this community is something that I highly appreciate and I'm thankful for. Ever since I joined this community, I have felt supported, inspired, and mentored by exquisite women, which made me, in return, want to be one of these mentors myself. One more thing is to remember, as basic as it's simple to be, but it's very important to keep a mentally healthy work-life balance. Try to avoid burnouts, and whenever possible, set boundaries between work and your personal life. And dedicate some time for yourself by reaching your hobbies or just relax.
I think that's very important, especially boundaries. I think it's super important. We try to do everything and it just sort of merges into each other. But I think all of that also comes with experience. So my question for you is, now that you've had all this experience, what would you tell young Amal about what to expect in her career?
Although I'm still young, but but I would like to say to myself that I was right, as always. I knew it was going to be hard. It won't be easy. It would be. It was really and extremely challenging. But one thing I was wrong about, you were wrong about, young Amal, is that growing up is not only about the years of your age, but rather the growth you make mentally and emotionally. You need to allow yourself to embrace your feelings and depth of your experience. Only then you will start seeing the growing version of yourself. Another thing that is absolutely important, fulfillment is impossible. Absolute fulfillment is impossible. You shouldn't, it shouldn't be your only driver. You should instead enjoy the journey and celebrate yourself, flaws included, more rather than trying to achieve a fixed version of yourself. So don't chase the perfection.
Sounds really nice. So I have one final question, and then we will gear up for taking answers from the audience. So, if the people that are attending here, if you want to ask a question, then do raise your hand. And then we will work on muting you and we'll take you up. But let's kind of do this when I take your name. But yeah, so the final question from my side is, do you have any advice for those that are listening or attending?
Of course. It's a very important question, and I thought that you might ask me something like this. So, in short, I like to keep it like three very important advice that I usually give to my colleagues at work also, and anyone who comes asking me for advice. That start with embracing your uniqueness and recognize that your experience and insight, whether as a woman or a man, bring values and perspective to the marine industry. So don't shy away from expressing your opinions and celebrating your ideas. Also, it's very important to build a strong support network within the marine community, the maritime community, by cultivating relationships within mentors, colleagues, and industry peers who can offer guidance, support, and encouragement through your career journey. This can provide valuable opportunities for growing within your career and investments. Finally, invest in continuous learning. Don't ever stop learning. As I said before, maritime law is an ocean. You can never say that I'm enough. I've learned everything, and I reached the bottom of all of it. So invest in learning, stay informed about the latest development, regulations, technologies in maritime industries, pursue professional development opportunities such as training programs, workshops, and certification to enhance your skills and knowledge bases.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. We are going to take 5 minutes for questions. So if anyone is feeling shy, they can type out their question. Or if anyone wants to ask the question at the, like, ask it out loud, you can also raise your hand and we will take it up. And while people might be gearing up the courage to ask, I am going to ask you, what has your week been like? And okay, what is a typical day at work like? What was your day-to-day like?
The typical day at work, since some of my colleagues are here, it would have been better if they answered this question. Every day is a new challenge. We really it's rapidly moving. So we are never bored. We are never just sitting down doing nothing. We always have something to do, something to write, something to know about, something to attend, something to negotiate about. If we don't find something to negotiate with others, we started defending ourselves within each other about our cases. So it's always fun to be with my colleagues in this new job. You remember the old job that I had? It was a little bit, not moving rapidly, so it was boring. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity. We are learning from each other. We start by, as usual, having breakfast together, sometimes coffee together if we have time. And then searching within the papers, what do we have today? What is the new news to follow today? I actually have two of my colleagues that thankfully granted the opportunity to continue their master's degree in maritime law. I hope that I was the influencer for that, not the one who pushed them harshly for that. And I wish them all the luck.
Thank you so much for answering this. And I don't think we have any questions, which I think might also be because you've answered everything that someone would want to know. So thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank you.
you're always going to be a part of the community and you're always going to attend these things. But I think a conversation like this was super important to have. And I personally thought that our community could value from this. So whether they are attending this right now or whether they watch the video later, I just want to say thank you for sharing your experience.
Thank you so much for having me. And I can't say enough about how grateful and thankful I am to be one of this community. It's a privilege, and we will be asked within ourselves what did we give to each other and how did we influence each other to grow more. Thank you for my team also, who always stands behind me, all of my colleagues. And ironically, I've never dreamed of leading a group of male-dominated team. But with their help and believing in me, I believe that I became the best version of me until now. So thank you for them. Thank you for my husband who is standing in front of me, cheering up. So yeah, it's the reality. No matter how much we want to feel sad about not being able to fulfill all of our dreams, and we want to hang it on something that is closer to us. The easiest way to hang something is just to say that because I'm a female, because I'm a woman, I couldn't do. But believe me, I believe now in this age and in this stage, I came to the understanding that the only obstacle is you. You are the only obstacle of yourself, and you can always be a better version of yourself. Not saying that pursuing perfectionism is the solution, but always find the reason why. Why do you want to do that? Why are you pursuing that? Is it for your own goals? Is it for just being jealous of someone? What is the goal of doing this? Is it serving your values and what you believe in? Yes, we are more emotional than males, and that I think this is an advantage. Actually, it's not a disadvantage because it helps us more to interact with our inner selves and understand the reality and the facts of what we are seeking for. I hope it's understandable.
Yes, it is.
I took the wisdom pills today, so
All right. I am